Insecurity. We begin with the front pages of the papers this morning, starting off with Vanguard. And Vanguard is leading with ADAMU says federal government can borrow till eternity. It will lead to disaster. NECA, Atiku, LP, others. The writer says loans are a source of infrastructure. That's coming from the APC chair. There are alternatives to borrowing. That's coming from NECA. NECA disagrees. Reckless, endless borrowing will lead to disaster. That's coming from Atiku. It shows how myopic the ruling party is. That's coming from Labour Party. Why borrowing till eternity is dangerous to economy. That's what the experts are saying. Buhari launches End Malaria campaign. On page 13, Zamfara government bans motorcycles. Others shoot on sites. On page 7, Insecurity, economy, woes, top agenda as governors meet today. Strike, anxiety as federal government, ASUU team meets secretly. 2023, again, Wike meets Peter Obi, others. Stories above. Train attack, remaining kidnapped victims in critical condition. That's coming from ex-negotiator. Current challenges shall pass, IBB tells Nigerians. You can see that on page 13. Gunmen kidnap commissioner in Nasarawa. You can see that on page 6. And on page 22, Afe Babalola, it is no longer news that kidnappers possess better and more modern weaponry than the police in Nigeria. All right, let's take a look at the Nation newspaper. The Nation is leading with 2023. Disquiet in PDP as Obi meets Wike, autumn, others. The writer says party on self-destructive path, says River Governor, you must go. Stories above. Rain to pound Lagos, Ogun, Osun, Oyo, Ondo, Ekiti, Edo. On page 3, conditions of remaining 27 train attack victims critical, says negotiator. Jay's Bank target 150 billion naira to fund companies. Don't lose hope, IBB tells Nigerians. Insecurity, terrorists, bandits are threats to 2023 poll, says Dambazu. The writer says governors meet today on insecurity. Lagos stakeholders seek total ban on Okada. Federal government ASUU talks deadlocked. You can see that on page 6. All right, let's take a look at the Guardian newspaper. The Guardian is leading with wealthy Nigerians, middle class, youth in web of naira shorting. The writer says country at risk of all-time high money laundering. Request for dollar-denominated accounts spike. Fund managers feast on the desperation for dollar assets. Outlaw domiciliary accounts. Go after black money. On page 29, 1,700 abandoned NDDC projects in Bayelsa unacceptable, says Diri. On page 9, we have Wike's meeting with Obi after Butch won with Atiku camp raises dust. Stories above. Total blackout imminent today despite next tariff market contract. On page 4, Palano, others sue Akwa Ibom CJ over jailed lawyers' rights. On page 30, 27 train passengers still in captivity, says Mamu. And lastly, on the front page of The Guardian, your apology accepted. Archbishop tells Lalong. Let's take a look at the Punch newspaper. The Punch is leading with PDP crisis. Atiku, Wike's men hold peace talk on Friday. The writer says a party that wants to win election cannot be involved in infighting. Rivers governor. Atiku's camp wants meeting to hold in Abuja. Fittering leads a delegation, says sources. If I were Atiku, I would take next flight to Port Harcourt and close this chapter. On page 6, we have 30 children, 144 Libyan returnees arrived in Nigeria. A murdered Mapoli Queen corpse found on her birthday. That's what her friend is saying. Firo restores demoted officer's salary amidst fraud trial. 4 students celebrating WASC at Lagos Beach drown. Wow, you can see that story on pages 4 and 5. That's a sad story. On page 11, we have ASUU federal government meeting deadlocked. Lecturer stage walkouts. Page 11 still, bandit IPOB members a threat to 2023 election. Dambazo. On page 13, why 7 million diasporans, other Nigerians unregistered. That's coming from INEC. US group opposes Benin bronze return to Nigeria. And lastly, on the front page of the Punch newspaper, power generation falls by 503 megawatts. Workers threaten strike. You can see that on page 19, and that's what we can take on the front pages of the papers. Join us after the break. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back. And if you're just joining us today in the news on Vanguard Live, I am Precious Chukudi, and today we'll just go through the papers as we try to get across to our correspondent and our guest. And it seems like we're having network glitches around there. Let's start off with the story on ADAMU saying that federal government can borrow to eternity. And there seems to be some widespread deliberation on what he has said. And that's the national chairman of the ruling All Progressive Congress, APC, Abdullahi Adamu, came under attack over his comments that the federal government could borrow to eternity to fund the country's infrastructure regeneration. As the Nigerian Employers Consultative Association, NECA, Labour Party, PDP presidential candidate Abubakar Atiku, and other economic experts faulted his declaration. Now, he had made mention to this, saying that the government could borrow from now till eternity, saying that countries like the United States and the United Kingdom borrow funds from international financial institutions to meet their needs. And his position was, however, faulted by NECA, Labour Party, and other economic experts who noted that the nation's debt profile has become unstable in the face of dwindling revenues, stressing that there were alternatives of ways of funding infrastructure. They also spoke about the fact that increase in the nation's debt could lead to high inflationary economic growth or no growth at all, as a much higher cost of capital in the economy and possible foreign defaults, its damaging effect. And Nigerians are basically saying that the government is not today that the government has been borrowing money. We've been hearing, there was a time that there was a report that said that Nigerians are owing countries like China because we're always going to those countries to borrow money. And we can also not deny the fact that, the federal government's continued reliance on borrowing to fund its annual budgets, is also causing a lot of problems for us as a country. And, the country is left with huge debt, and also for current and future generation, it's just like them saying that you're owing some countries money as an individual, money that you did not spend because you don't even understand what's happening. And then every day we get to hear that animals are stealing money. It's really funny. All right, let's move straight to our next topic for today, and we're talking about ASUU strike. And of course, we know that the strike started in February 14th of this year, and it is continued thus far. And this is like the 6 months that the strike has continued. And of course, the students are beginning to feel bear the brunt of what exactly is going on with the strike thing. You see a lot of people now are just hanging around. That's for the students. And we keep complaining about how we have half-baked graduates, how we do not have we don't have graduates employable, basically. Now, the negotiation meeting that was held by the federal government and ASUU yesterday ended in deadlock, thus dashing hopes of imminent resumption of academic activities in the nation's public universities. Now, the union met with Professor Bridge Renegotiation Committee with a view to resolving its differences with federal government towards reopening the university. Now, this meeting ended without resolution. Now, Vanguard gathered that the Professor Nimi Bridge Renegotiation Committee did not bring any new offer to the table, forcing the lecturers union to walk out of the meeting. A source at the meeting said the committee only pleaded with the striking lecturers to suspend their action with a promise that the 2023 national budget will address their demands. And I'm like, really? I mean, why would you say suspend your strike and then let's wait till 2023 so that then your demands can be addressed? Why don't address it once and for all in this year? It doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, it's very important that, the reason why these strikes are going on should be solved in this year. So come next year, we won't have any back and forth. But that's what they're saying, that they want them to move their demands to 2023, and that's when they feel like they'll be able to address it. And it's really a very big problem, because I mean, we're dealing with issues ranging from poor funding of public universities, lecturers' payment platform to unpaid allowances, and ASUU is asking the federal government to meet its demand. I mean, this is 6 months now. I remember it's not funny on the students who have to stay at home and not go to school, or see their counterparts in the private universities, going to school. Just not too long, I was talking to a few colleagues of mine, and we're talking about how the JACPA level is on a sporadic increase. We're seeing a lot of Nigerians moving out of the country, in search of greener pastures, better education system, and all of that. And this is what we get. All right, let's move on to our other story today, and we're also going to be looking at insecurity, economic woes, as governors meet today. Now, we're looking at this story. The governors are supposed to meet today, and Nigerians have actually been complaining about the hardship associated with, the recurring cases of insecurity, resulting in kidnappings, killings, and, wanton destructions of property by terrorists across the country. Now, the governors are saying that they want to come today to brainstorm on the issues, that is plaguing the country. And according to them, they're saying that they want to confront these issues and also come out with possible solutions on how they intend to address the issues. Now, in a statement yesterday, the head media and public affairs of the NGF, that's Abdulrazak Bello Bakindo, noted that the state of the economy would dominate the conversation at the meeting scheduled for the banquet hall of the presidential villa in Abuja. Now, the statements read, the state of the economy will dominate the conversation when the 36 governors meet on Wednesday, August 17, 2022, at the banquet hall. And they intend to talk about everything that is going on in the country, why the country is the way it is. Now, they said that two things will basically feature prominently in their conversation, and that is the economy and security. And this year, and according to them, this will be the first time in the year, contrary to reports that the governors had collectively advised the president on the weeding of 50 years olds from the federal service and other spurious suggestions made to impose further hardship on the people. The governors also said that they will collectively meet to consider a total overhaul on the nation's economy. Well, we are hoping to see what's going to come out from this meeting, and we're hoping that this meeting will not just be like the other meetings, that we'll get positive results from this meeting. All right, let's take a look at Mr. and Mrs. Before we go. And it seems like Mrs. is speaking this morning first. She says, my mother's death is very painful. We all cried and cried, but determined to give her a befitting burial. The Ashwebi is 150,000 naira per yard. 20 cows will be slaughtered. Food and drinks inexhaustible. We are all happy and looking forward to the day. And Mr. says, so why did all of you cry in the first place? Really? Why did you guys cry in the first place? We have so much money to spend for your mother's burial. I mean, imagine 150,000 naira for 1 yard. How many yards will I now used to sow? This is crazy. But then again, it's Mr. and Mrs. and with their shenanigans. Remember that you can equally like, share, and subscribe on all our social media platforms showing on your screen. You can go to our website, www.vanguardng.com, to find out more. I am Precious Chukudi, and thank you for watching.